What's up, Shakur?
Ain't nothing. You had me kind of worried there a little bit. You
What?
hear me? You had me kind of worried a little bit.
I know, and that's because I mean you probably thought like probably a bunch of different things. Like I went back to jail, so because I remember that too. Like somebody doesn't answer. I thought
Yeah.
about emailing you, but I thought because it was last night that I realized. So by the time I get he gets my email, he'll be at the next visit.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he could have emailed me. You know what I mean? I came back.
It was
And I was like, damn,
it
I ain't
was,
know what was going on. So I said, I'm going to try to call him before I walk up here. You know, that's a long ass walk.
was it Is it a long walk?
Hell yeah.
Like Graterford?
It's like, one is like three or four of them blocks.
Well, from
Cause
Graterford.
we always in the back. We like the last block on the east side, all the way in the back. So we gotta walk all the way down,
Oh,
all the way the fuck back.
I just realized it's like a cell. I thought you were like I was picturing like Graterford, like when you go behind that their visiting room. Remember, it's like a table there. And it's like a
No,
gate.
yeah, no, we on the other side of the visiting room. Now, I mean, so we gotta walk everything outside. Everything is outside here. Now, I mean, so you gotta walk all the way. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I just was like, and then when I called you last night, I'm like, damn, what the fuck is going on? I thought something might have happened to you. You know what I mean?
I
I was
don't
kind
worry
of
about
like,
me.
what's going on? Everything all right?
Yeah, putting ducks in a
Yeah.
row.
My birthday was Thursday, and the homicide of this joint happened on the day before my birthday, which would have been Wednesday. So I was kind of an emotional roller coaster. You know what I mean?
The 31st was your birthday.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna put that on my calendar. So you're a Cancer.
No, Leo,
Oh, it switches that like in the all right, like 20 or 21.
20, yeah, 21. Yeah. Yeah, you got your whole arm tatted, huh?
Yeah. When I was
Huh?
when I first met you, I think I only had like one up here. I stopped so I could wear a long sleeve shirt and nobody would see, so I can look professional when I want to,
Yeah.
and then look hardcore if I need to. I got a letter from Fetterman, John Fetterman, an email. I emailed him,
Yeah.
I think, a year ago. I didn't even look to see when it was. I mean, I was surprised he even responded, but it took him almost a
Yeah.
year. And it was, I mean, he answered it like he got it yesterday. Cause I was like,
Oh yeah.
dang, this was all issues I was bringing up last year.
What you talking to him about?
It was when I first got out. I wanted to ask him about like reform, sentencing reform, prison reform. Did they have anything going on? How can I get involved? I said, the majority of Pennsylvanians have a friend or loved one incarcerated if they hadn't been incarcerated themselves. Reform with the system, the prison system, and the sentencing system is something that might be good for votes. I mean, that one bill I read, 150. I mean, it's nice, but I mean, that can't be the best we can do. You didn't read it, did you?
No, what's that about?
Compassionate release.
That directly don't. I mean, like compassionate release, you gotta be on your deathbed.
Yeah, and that's what it says.
Yeah,
You have to have a doctor that says you're gonna die within a year, I think.
And then the juvenile joint, it's already been settled with the United States Supreme Court that they can cut you some slack. They don't have to give you a life sentence, or they don't have to give you exorbitant amounts of time. I got somebody here who's working on 18 to 25. And he putting the joint together, and he got a couple people that's riding along with the bill he get ready to present. Is because they need to open some more doors. Even though they got second degree on the table right now up in the United States Supreme Court, and Pennsylvania legislators supposed to be looking at it, but they taking forever with that.
I know.
You know, so and then
That
it's,
Derek
it's
Lee
really no
case, they didn't even make a ruling on that yet.
no
That's been in
no
there almost a year.
yeah yeah. It got so it was getting a lot of leg room, leeway, and then it just went mute for the last past 6 months.
Yeah, it did. It went like stagnant.
Yeah, yeah.
The bill, you have to have legislate somebody from the government back you.
And
That's
see, this is what my man doing, right? So he had a guy who was a legislator, the state representative, right?
who?
And he proposed the 18 to 25 bill, right?
Yeah.
But he got shot down, but he did it wrong, right? So my man PC, he wrote him and was like, listen, I read your bill and all of that. He said, I got all the data and information that you could possibly need. He said, being as though I'm an incarcerated person and I understand how the law go, let me draft the bill and would you submit it for me? And he said, yeah. Know what I'm saying? So they've been going back and forth with this particular joint. Remember, I was trying to hook you up with him. Know what
Oh,
I mean?
that's the
But
guy? I emailed him. That's
huh?
the email you gave me, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't. He said you ain't get back with him. That's what he told me anyway. I don't know.
I mean, really, that's the only way we're going to get anything changed is by a bill. And we got
Yeah,
to get.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying is like, remember I told you that he had another lawyer working with him to try to put together a voters block, right? Get lobbyists up in Harrisburg to get voters block and stuff like that. When me and you have first start contact, that's what I was telling you about at the time.
The
And
change.org?
huh?
The change.org?
No, 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 not that. I'm talking about with him personally. He got something different. He doing two things. He doing a voter block joint, and he doing the 18 to 25. The
What's the
voter
voters
block
block?
joint. He needed people. It's almost like getting people to combat some of these bills that Harrisburg is presenting, or putting bills in there for us that's can give us more leeway. But he needed somebody with a platform like yours. You understand? In certain ways.
And
And
that's what we need. We need like people like that to come together. We got to make a difference. I don't want to do this my
yeah,
whole life. I want to have a family one day, but I'm not going to do it until I break this injustice. But it's
yeah. And that's my whole thing, right? Is I'm like, damn, because if I come home, Sam, if I come home, your platform is gonna get bigger because I want to do the same thing. You understand? But I also, like you said, you also got to create a life for yourself. I don't know. And remember, you said you was gonna send flyers to do this and do that and do this, but you never did it. Know what I'm saying?
Shakur, I get distracted. I mean, you gotta stay on top of me. I have notes, and then my niece, I think, runs off with them. What do you say about
But my
flyers?
whole thing is, yeah, you said you wanted to do paralegal stuff.
Oh yes, see, and that was for me, and I didn't even do that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like you gotta get a calendar, and you gotta stay committed to some things that you want to do. I didn't know where you was going. That's why I ain't said nothing in a while. But
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
like,
I thought about it again actually a few weeks ago, because there's a bunch of firms, locally. Because what I do is A lot of these firms, they'll get like, somebody who's incarcerated wants to appeal, but they don't want to do it because it's not enough money for them. And I tell them, give it to me, I'll do it. I don't need a lot of money.
Yeah,
They can keep
yeah,
a portion of it and have to do nothing. Just pay
yeah,
me some
yeah.
peanuts and file it.
Are they doing it?
Yeah, but that's what I do now. But I wanted to expand. Hit up a couple more, but make
And
sure I have
see,
the
and
time
see,
to.
and that's what I said. You got dudes like I could put it on this block where dudes come down every. It's like a court block, and I can tell my man post these on your block. Now I'm saying, but you got to send the information. You got to. Now I'm saying like
I'll do that this week. I have it done too. Almost. Well, I have it done. I just gotta finalize it. But
I ain't even get the Momia case yet, so I don't know.
I.
I don't know
All
what's
right.
going on.
And again, you see, It's not just
See,
me. I have to deal with other people too, and they're on a different time too. They're on a worse time than me. Fetterman,
yeah,
that's probably the worst of it. That took a year. Usually it'll take like
yeah,
somebody like a month or two to get to something that doesn't benefit them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
People will always do something that benefits them, but when it's not
yeah,
important, and I know I've written
yeah.
this freaking note down numerous times, and I thought it was in motion. You know,
Hey, but I got one thing that I really need you to do, you got it on your record joint,
yeah.
because we was supposed to been going over it. We was supposed to been going. Oh man, I think I left that shit myself. But I wanted you to I got a rough copy right here, but it's like it's the questions from the commutation board. It's one question from the commutation board, right? And I kind of been like not struggling with it, but I like you to present this quote to AI about if somebody, if you was a offender and you had to make a plea to the victim's family, how would AI pose that question?
that that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But I want them to compare it to what I said already.
Do you want to say what you said, or do you want her to say hers
Yeah,
first?
I'm gonna say what I said first,
Okay.
and then you could pose it to AI. So I said I would like to take the time to address the family. 34 years ago, my actions led to the death of Mr. Frank. And during those years of my incarceration, there doesn't go a single day that I suffer the horrible thoughts of my actions. At this time, I would like to express my deepest and sincerest apology for the pain and suffering that my actions caused. And I realize that nothing I can say or do will ever be enough to satisfy the loss that I have caused. I can only offer this sincere apology in the hope that one day I will be forgiven for what I've done.
You know, we don't. People don't really talk often about the other side. The victims. Especially like in these advocacy groups for inmate rights,
Mm,
incarcerator rights,
yeah,
sentencing rights. But we don't bring this up. We don't bring up the. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people are afraid to, shy, embarrassed.
and
But
see,
there is another
but
family too that's hurting because there.
exactly. So go ahead.
It's there's always multiple lives lost, even if it's just one, and then it's multiple families hurting.
How did that sound to you?
That was good, man.
Uh,
That was good. I mean, right to the point. It's
do you think AI can do better?
what I would add is what you've done to make amends, to rectify the
And
death
see,
of.
but my whole thing is that would be a question. That's only one question. that they will ask you. You know, it's several it's several it's several questions they will ask you. Like say this, say we read your application, tell us briefly about the crime. Then it's another one. Tell us about your criminal record. Then it says, what kind of programs have you been involved with? Then you can. Then it goes on. You know what I mean? It's so many different joints. What did you learn from the programs? Why should we grant you commutation? Where will you live if granted commutation? How will you support yourself? How will you handle your mental health issues? And it goes on and on and on. How many misconducts have you had? You know, these are little quotes, little jewels that I receive from different people, and I also expounded on them. You know, is because that's the most uh, emotional and vulnerable question that I have to answer thus far. You know, I can say I can say I took my GED. I can say that I'm almost finished Villanova. I
Shakur, the
can say,
phone's cutting out.
oh yeah,
Yeah, right there. It's
already.
good. It's good there. That,
Yeah, I'm saying I could.
yeah,
You hear me?
yeah.
I could say all these things, all these accolades that I did. You know, and I can even say the different institutional programs that I have done, thinking for a change, intensive violence prevention and stuff like that,
College, your degrees.
degrees, and all of my certificates in the barbershop, and uh, 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 just so many different programs, restorative justice, yeah, it's just so many, but that was like the
Yeah,
hardest one
yeah.
to
That stuff's
even,
easy. That
yeah,
one's the
to
one that makes you
even,
think. Yeah.
yeah, to even, speak it. Sometimes I sit there in the mirror and I go over and 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 try to rehearse that joint. Now, I mean, because, it's been so long, I still even get real emotional and break down and cry. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be on point and try to really impress upon the pardons board of how remorseful I am. You
Yeah, because
understand? So
that's
that's why I asked you to quote that to AI and see what kind of feedback that AI would give you. Can you do that?
you want me to say what you said? Like,
You can quote it first
you
and
want to
ask
say
them,
it?
and then, huh?
You want to say it?
You just said, I just told you. Can you just go ahead and
I
do it?
can't. I can't remember everything you just said. I can say, what would you say?
All right. So I'm gonna just pose the question. All right. Yeah. Just turn it on, and I'll pose the question.
Hey Google, I'm gonna put you in conversation mode.
All right, I'm ready to chat. What's on your mind today?
All right, I'm gonna go like this and then just start talking. If you make a pause though, if you have too long of a pause, she'll think you're done. So just
All right.
go on to your questions, and when you're done talking, she'll compute it and answer. You ready?
All right. Being an offender, and if posed a question by someone, if the victim's families was here today, what would you tell them if you caused some harm or murdered somebody in their family?
That's a really tough question. It takes a lot of courage to even think about something like that. If you were in that situation, maybe you could start by acknowledging the immense pain and loss they've experienced. You could express genuine remorse and take responsibility for your actions. It's important to understand that no words can fully heal the wounds caused by such a tragedy, but expressing your deepest regret and a commitment to making amends could be a starting point.
It's, is there anything specific though that you would say if you were in the situation where you had caused the death of somebody and you wanted to say you're sorry to their family?
If I were in that situation, I think I would say something like, I know there are no words that can ever undo what I've done. I took someone incredibly precious from you, and for that, I am truly sorry. I can't imagine the pain you're going through, but I want you to know that I understand the gravity of my actions. I hope that one day you might find some peace.
Would it
All right. So
be
if I was to pose this question, do you think it's a valid question? Did you turn it off?
that's what you want me to say? I didn't know if you were talking to me or not.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna hit it again and point when it's ready. Ready?
All right. So if I was to pose this response to the question, do you think it's a valid response? I would like to take a moment to address the Burton family. 34 years ago, my actions led to the death of Mr. Frank Burton. And during those years of my incarceration, there doesn't go a single day that I suffer the horrible thoughts of my actions. At this time, I would like to express my deepest and sincerest apology for the pain and suffering that my actions caused. And I realize that nothing I can say or do will ever be enough to satisfy the loss that I caused. I only offer this sincere apology and hope that one day I will be forgiven for what I have done to the Burton family.
That's a very sincere and humble sentiment. It shows a deep understanding of the gravity of the situation and a genuine desire for forgiveness. It's important to remember that forgiveness is a complex process, and it may not come easily or at all. However, expressing your hope for forgiveness can be a meaningful step in the process of healing and reconciliation.
Yeah, okay. So that was a positive response, right?
Yeah.
I feel a little bit better.
She's a genius.
Exactly. So I feel a little bit better that I'm going down the right road with the response that I want to give.
I mean, because there's so many variables in that situation. I studied, the parole board, what they look for, and and the victim side of it. And because in my case, I didn't have any victim, so I was thinking, how do I address a victimless crime? And then I thought, there really is no victimless crime, even when drugs. My family was a victim, the society. So that's why I did a parole.
Exactly.
But it's variables, and I mean, 34 years it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, and that stuff doesn't go away. I mean, look, that person's life was taken, their family's hurt. Your life was taken, and you're put in a capsule. It's almost like, I mean, and in jail, I mean, I was sentenced to 10 to 20, and there's so many times, where you'd think, God, I wish I was dead. I can't imagine what, having the feeling of, and I'm sorry if this is hard for you, but this is it for me. I'm in prison for the rest of my life. That's hard to even think about out here.
Yeah. I'm saying, but it's been hard. Trust me, it's not been, a bunch of, happy days in this joint.
Your phone's breaking up, Shakur.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it hasn't been a bunch of happy days in here. I go on my depression and stuff like that sometimes. And I even got a high anxiety problem. Sometimes my anxiety get out of control, and I have to take medication for that.
Anxiety and depression. Like, a lot of people don't talk about it but now that I'm out here, everybody is reaching out to me talking about it. And we're all like, yeah, you too? Yeah, me too. But when I was in there, none of us talked about it.
Yeah, because this is a place of strength where you got to be strong. You can't show no weakness at any time. If you show weakness, then you're a sucker, or you in the way, or you this. Everybody got a name for something that's purely a wow is a world problem. Anxiety is I didn't know until I started really going through it,
Your
because
phone's breaking.
I used to have little problems over Graterford, but you could open up a window, you could turn on the fan, and they kept the doors cracked here. Everything is like you said, in a capsule. So it's even worse. Mine got worse when I came over here. I mean, like almost to the point of suicide. So I was at a meeting one day in a reentry group, and one of the guys was like, "Get out of here, Shakur! Like, I don't believe that. Like, I was lying." You know. So everybody looked at me and was like, "Wow, like that was bold for you to, blunt and bold for you to be able to just say something. You don't know what the next." And they jumped on him like, "You don't know it, but I know him. I've been knowing him for years, and I never." I'm like, "Dog, like this is a different world over in this joint, man. It was horrible. I'm talking about literally, they shut that door and felt like I was in a casket. Well, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So being as though I come from an abused background, because when we were little and we was in foster care, we had to sleep in the basement. So they kept the door locked. So we couldn't come out that joint until the next morning when they unlocked the door. So, you know, it kind of was that, it was kind of that effect. Now, so, and then you relive that experience. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? You just never know how things build up. You don't take notice until those situations come back around, and that's what happened when I got incarcerated. But I had to deal with it. But this was another animal when we came over here. Even before we got over here, my whole body chemistry knew what was going to happen before I even got to this place. So it started breaking me down even before I got here.
It,
Shakur, you know what's coming, don't you? You better be prepared. But I'm like, oh man, in my head, I'm like, damn, we're gonna be locked in, we're gonna be this, we're gonna be that. And you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm snapping on people. Yeah.
You, when I remember the whole feeling like at Camp Hill, knowing you're about to be transferred, you don't know where the heck you're going, and I mean, you feel tough, I got this, but your body does something completely different. Like you're using the bathroom all the time. You're not hungry. It's like, come on, man, eat. You're biting your nails. It's like, what's wrong with me? Your body knows.
Yeah. So I get nervous. I gotta take a shit.
That's what I said. You gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah, I gotta take a shit.
I mean, I was saying that in a different way.
I was ready to fight this ball, right? Me and him was getting ready to get in the rumble, right? So I ate up all this spaghetti, right? So when you ready to fight, you get emboldened, but you be nervous too, because you never know what's the outcome. So I'm like, yo, man, I gotta take a shit. He's like, you gotta take a shit. We ready to fight.
How long ago was that?
Fuck that fight. This is over greater. It was like in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. Y'all gotta take a shit. Yeah, you gotta take a shit. Nigga, we can ready to fight. Yo, so I slammed the door. And hurried up and jumped on the toilet. Took shit real fast. Yeah. So they got the door open, right? Niggas watching, looking at all that shit, man. That nigga came in there and said, I'll whoop that nigga ass. Yo, I'll fuck that nigga up. But I took a shit before I
That's a hell of a day.
Yo, that drink was crazy, man.
A day in prison in the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s, man. That shit was crazy.
You know, Shakur, like everybody, I talked to a few people and that have long sentences and have been in there for a while.
Hmm.
Everybody's different. You're probably the most. I mean, I don't really know how to explain that. Because the one
Well, listen.
extreme side is Aaron. Aaron's just no emotions. That's locked up. But he's been in there since he was 15. And then you're at this side of the spectrum. It's just, empathy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean,
Hold the phone,
I
Shakur.
deal. Oh shit! Yeah, I know. I keep moving. I deal with reality. I'm realistic. So we all built. I like to stay human. I don't want to lose myself to being indoctrinated with prison. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what ruins a lot of us, and we become angry and we become emotionalist. Like you said, the other guy, he just don't have no emotions about nothing. I understand what I'm here for, and I'm not gonna say that I'm innocent because I know I'm not innocent because I was involved with this situation, even though I didn't want to do nothing. I didn't want to be in that place in that time. I was drugged there because I was in the car with somebody and they was driving.
Yeah.
Some people say, well, how could you have got out the car? How can I get out the car without killing myself when somebody is driving and you tell them to stop and pull over and they accelerate the car even more? You know, so my personal involvement, even though I begged this guy, almost like cussing him out, telling him you doing some dumbass shit, you doing this, and he still want to do what he want to do. It's because this is his motive. This is motivation. It's not mine when I'm stuck trapped in this seat. I even tried to crouch down, and he even made me get up because I'm asking him, "Did you drive past?" And he was like, "Yeah." So I come up and he right me on the corner, and he eased across the street to where these guys was at. And then when somebody, I'm already annoyed, so you already annoyed, you like what the fuck? Know what I'm saying? So I'm cussing him out. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? You want some nut shit? These my exact words. You want some nut shit? Why you? And I look out the corner of my eye and somebody running towards the car. I had a gun on me. I had a gun on me and I shot. I shot one time because I panicked because somebody shot at the car previous that day. I mean, earlier that evening, not too long. That's why he wanted to go over there because somebody shot at the car. So being as though somebody shot at the car, now you're going in the territory and you see somebody running towards the car. I
Yeah.
panicked and I
Yeah.
shot. But
You.
then they started shooting. Now I mean, they started shooting their guns as dudes running up the street. They just banging all in the crowd. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, I have to bear responsibility. I have to bear responsibility, you know, because I did shoot, you know, out of panic, out of fear, but I did shoot, So I have to be realistic about what I'm saying, and I'm locking for shall be in prison for this long. I don't think so, you know, but I only can get out by expressing my point to whatever people I have to express my point to. So I can, hopefully, uh, 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 open their hearts up and see the real Shakur or Earl, and and get me helping me out of this situation. To see, like my intent wasn't to harm nobody that night. My intent was to go out and have fun. It was my birthday. Who the hell want to go
Yeah. Take it for
shoot
yourself.
somebody up on their birthday? Huh?
That I didn't know it was your birthday. I mean, I knew your
Yeah,
case a
yeah.
little bit from when I met you, but
Yeah, it was the evening before,
when you're
it was the
that
evening
old, your
before.
birthday's all week.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm, like, and it seemed like on some real shit, it seemed like they came to get me just so something like that, in case something like that did happen. I don't know. It was a surprise birthday party. Anyway, they planned this. they planned this party. So when I didn't know it was, when I walked in the club, he had my name all over the place, and they had big ass bowls, like three big ass bowls. They had them the hourglass bowls on the bar. It was like three big ass joints, halfway filled up. Everybody taking dips, and it was about a good 50, 60 people there,
In
because
the
the
early
club was kind of
90s.
tight. Huh?
In the early 90s,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a visual.
92. You know what I
So
mean?
it's
It was a nice little club,
in Chester.
Yeah, yeah. At a bar. It was at a bar. You know what I mean? So it's about a good 60, I'd say about 60 people there, 70 people, something like that. So I'm like, this shit was crazy, man.
The people who make the decisions too, they've never been in the situations like that. I I had a gun pulled on me. I had a shot. Dude hit me with the gun on the head, and the trigger went, or shot, and I thought I was hit
Yeah,
because blood was going down my eye. And I pulled my gun out, and I mean it was a drug deal that went bad. It's the heat of the
yeah,
moment, you know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
I didn't pull the trigger, but
yeah, yeah.
that moment, I mean,
Imagine if you did. Like,
yeah.
you never know the reaction, even though you was getting robbed,
I didn't think of
but at the same
consequences or none of
time,
that.
yeah, yeah, and at the same time, like these people, uh, you know, it was,
And yeah, especially because your heart rate is up, and you are in an area you went into danger. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
you shouldn't have gone there, and you didn't want to go there, but you were forced
yeah,
there. You were forced into the lion's den. So
exactly.
you're on point. I mean, your finger was probably on a trigger, at least mentally, if not literally.
And then this is the crux of his phone grade cut off too. Then the crux of it is that I never got to tell my story at court because we never made any statements. Say they don't know my side. And you had all these dudes coming in as tough guys. It was like at least about 14 motherfuckers that came to court. It was like four that identified us, but you know, just the residuals. I'm like, what the hell? This shit was crazy. Not the what the? I'm like,
You were offered a deal. Did you want to bring that up or no?
yeah, because I don't have no proof. I don't have. This is what I'm trying to find out. I don't have no proof of that. That I was offered a deal. But this is not a court of. This is not a place of. Let's make a deal. This is a place that you got to show
Yeah,
remorse. So they not trying to hear none of that.
that's
But all that court stuff, yeah, it's all about the victim. It's not nothing about me.
no.
It's nothing about me. It's all about the victim. And I'm not trying to cross any lines.